As Wayne County falls deeper into deficit, the threat of an emergency manager looks all the more possible. And one of the county's biggest cash hemorrhages is taking place inside the jails.
7 Action News investigator Ross Jones blew the whistle on all this waste almost a year and a half ago, and tonight he is taking action for you by exposing the latest chapter of this head-shaking saga.
Indeed, Wayne County residents, Bob Ficano wants to raise your taxes. He says that's the only way he can get out of the county's latest $70 million budget deficit. But many say a huge cash drain that we exposed a long time ago is a much better place to start. And the longer the county waits to fix it, well, the worse it gets.
We're hemorrhaging. You know, the city of Detroit has its financial problems, and Wayne County, at this rate, we're following them.
There is money to burn at the Wayne County Jail. No, not the new one, slated to cost $91 million more than was ever budgeted. It's happening here at the county's 3 old jails, a problem we exposed more than 15 months ago that county brass has failed to solve.
It's August of 13. We spoke about it in April of 2012.
And the problem's getting worse.
And the problem's steady getting worse every single day.
The problem is this. Wayne County's jails are so understaffed that the county's paying out huge amounts of overtime just to cover all the shifts. In about a year, they've blown through more than $19 million in OT alone.
And it's not like if there's overtime, you're going to do an extra hour or 2 hours, you're going to do another 8 hours. That's 16 hours.
One deputy alone worked more than 2,100 hours in overtime. That's 41 extra hours every week for a year, costing the county more than $83,000. And he's just one example. The list of payouts is more than 3,000 names long. Many times, deputies actually refuse the double shifts, but are ordered to work them anyway.
That says something when somebody refuses overtime.
What it's saying, Mr. Jones, is they've been dealing with this for so long. They are tired. They're exhausted. They're worn out.
Emails document deputies collapsing at work. One was sent to the hospital after working doubles almost every day.
So to cut down on all that fatigue and save the county on overtime, the sheriff's been pushing to hire 150 new deputies. They'd cost almost half as much as a current deputy on overtime, and the sheriff says they'd save almost $8 million a year.
That's money that could go a long way at the jail that's letting out inmates to save cash. Inmates accused of violent crimes are put on tethers like these, free to roam the streets. That almost $8 million could lock up 147 accused criminals for a year.
Is it cheaper to do that? Yes.
Even Bob Ficano's budget guru agrees new deputies would save the county money. The problem, he said at a commission meeting last week, is that there isn't enough funding to hire them.
I have no problem you moving the budget around and giving the sheriff more money, but you're going to take it from somebody else.
But even commissioners say that excuse doesn't make sense. The county is already spending money not in its budget to pay all that overtime. So why not use that cash to hire these cheaper employees now?
There is no reason whatsoever to hide behind any technical barriers any longer, to not implement it, and let's start saving some doggone money.
They spent $19 million in overtime. Well, I tell you what, where you getting that money from every month, every 2 weeks? The same place you're drawing that money from? Go draw $5 million, whatever it costs. Our CEO just needs to understand that this is no chess game. Make a real decision and hire the young men and women that the sheriff's office need to create some normal staffing.
So from the sounds of their last meeting, it seems like county commissioners are finally supportive of providing more funding for new hires. However, Bob Ficano's office has long said that Sheriff Benny Napoleon needs to trim some fat from his payroll before any new funding is added.
Wow, so you're talking about a lot of money in salary dollars. Any talk about the pensions?
Well, and you're right, a lot of these deputies are eligible for pensions, and that could be an even bigger cost. Yeah, that sweetens all of their pensions, which they get the rest of their life when they retire. All that overtime makes them bigger. So absolutely, that's a big consideration and something that a county with a underfunded pension system has to worry about too.
A lot of problems. Ross Jones, thank you for the report.